Hey everybody, welcome back to our series on the 10 Commandments of Digital Missions. Today's commandment is a very simple one: thou shalt engage in comments. Usually when I tell people about my ministry, one of the questions that I get a lot is, how do you deal with trolls? How do you deal with the haters on your platform who are just, out there to attack you or to make fun of you, whatever the case? And the way that I respond to it is, I respond to those comments in the same way that I would try to do that in real life. And I've actually had some really cool experiences, some really cool stories that have come out from just random comments. I remember not too long ago, I found a video that was actually made about me by a channel that was not something that I would expect. There's this guy on YouTube who runs a channel called The Raging Atheist, and I was scrolling through his channel and I realized, hey, that's my face in his thumbnail. And it turns out he was actually making a video in response to some of the content that I had created. Now you can imagine, with a channel name like The Raging Atheist, what the content of that video would be like. It was a very, very colorful attack on myself, my character, my person, my video, and everything else. I mean, it was quite a very severe lashing that I received in that video. And so I had an opportunity to think, okay, how should I respond? Should I respond, number one? And if I was going to, what would I want to say? And I decided, you know what? I am going to respond, but rather than getting mad, rather than getting defensive, rather than, just attacking him back, what I decided to do was actually to thank him. Because here's what I realized. In order for him to take a video of mine, to chop it up in pieces, and then to actually insert himself responding to a lot of what I had said, he was actually taking time to watch my video, to think about it, and to engage with what I was saying. Now, of course, we ended up on two different sides of the argument when it came to that specific video, but what I realized was that he was taking time to engage, and so I decided to do the same. I leaned in and said, hey, you know what? I wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate your thoughts, and even though we might disagree, I really value your opinion. I'm really glad that you weighed in on this discussion. And I told him, specifically, hey, if you're ever in the area, if you ever come visit where I live, I'd love to meet up with you. I'd love to take you out for a meal, hang out, to chat. It's all on me. Love to have you over. He actually responds in the comments not too long after that. He said, wow, I'm so surprised that you actually responded. I've made a lot of videos on Christians, and you're the first person to respond. And here I am in the back of my head thinking, well, yeah, of course, that kind of makes sense because you're not the most friendly person on your videos. But I said, that's great. I'm glad to be able to talk. And what happened was, over the next couple of weeks and months, we actually started to develop a friendship through the comment section of our videos. And this is really important because what I started to realize is that comments are real interactions. They're just as valuable and real as an interaction that you might be able to have with a person face to face. If you gave a sermon, if you gave a message at your local church, and someone came up with a genuine and sincere question, you wouldn't just write them off or ignore them. You would engage with them and you would talk to them, and try to understand where they're coming from. So this is what my approach was. A couple weeks later, I see again another video that he put out on my channel about this. This time, he was highlighting something that I had said at a camp meeting. This last summer, I got to speak at camp meeting for one of the local youth groups here in the Northwest. And he had basically watched through that entire sermon and started to talk about some of the points that I had made in that message. It was interesting, though, because you could actually sense his tone change in his second video that he had made about me. The first video, he was very antagonistic, attacking me, right? But the second video, he actually started to meet me in the middle. And what I was starting to see in this video was he was taking some of the points that I was making, because I was actually talking about hypocrisy and the importance of living a genuine and authentic experience. If you're going to claim to be a Christian, live that way. Don't just say it and live a different way. He was actually saying, you know what? I agree with Justin in what he's saying in this video. He says, this is such an important message that no matter who you are and what your belief system is, we all need to live consistently. And it was kind of cool that in this second video, we're kind of meeting each other halfway, somewhat agreeing with each other. And it was really great. Several weeks later, I see a third video on his channel about my content. And this time, I was very scared because he was responding to a video that I had done on a very controversial subject, which was on the issue of gay Christianity. I actually did an interview with a self-proclaimed gay Christian, someone who was a student, a master's of theology student in Seattle, and openly gay. And we had a conversation. He came from one side of the perspective, saying that God blesses all unions, even same-sex unions, and I was on the other perspective, saying I believe sexual intimacy is reserved for marriage. And we had like a discussion. It was like a 4 or 5 part series discussion on video. So here he is making a video response to that one, and I'm wondering what in the world is he going to say about this? Well, he actually had some nice things to say. He actually kind of met me, not only just met me in the middle, but he actually was affirming what we were doing on camera. He said, what, these kinds of conversations are so important for all people to have, whether you're a Christian or not Christian. And one thing that he was actually saying was, I really realized that for me, I have been kind of homophobic or whatever the case is. He had like his own personal revelation. Well, as you can imagine, his audience of fellow atheists and infidels, as he likes to refer to them, they did not like that he was agreeing with a Christian. And so they actually went in the comment section, started to attack me in the comment section of his video. So again, I'm faced with this opportunity. How should I respond? Should I respond? What do I say? In that moment, as I was thinking about what do I type, how do I respond to this, I decided to wait just a little bit longer. And this was actually a good decision, because a few hours after that, I see him respond to the other atheist in his comment section. And here's what he said. He said, what? People like you are what's wrong with society today. He's speaking to the other atheists. He says, you are bigoted, you are close-minded, you're being homophobic, you have, and he was just basically defending me to his atheist viewers, saying, what, you're in the wrong. What Justin and Matthias, the gay Christian, are doing, this conversation is so important, so valuable, we have a lot to learn from them. And so you see this kind of progression where initially he's attacking me. Secondly, then he starts to kind of like meet me in the middle. And then in third, he's actually defending me. And for me, that was so heartwarming, because all of that took place simply because I responded to a single comment. And this is why I really believe in the thou shalt engage in comments challenge. My first 12 months of this YouTube channel, I grew to a size of 10,000 subscribers, and I can say proudly that I responded to every single comment that I received in a 12-month period up to the size of 10,000 subscribers. That's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments that I have personally sat down, thought of a response, and replied to them in the comment section. And I think that this was really one of the major keys to actually growing a tribe, to growing an audience. And it's super important, because one of the things that the YouTube algorithm weighs in deciding whether or not to promote your video or not to other people is this creating engagement in the comment section of the video? Are people thumbs upping the video or thumbs downing? It actually doesn't matter to YouTube, because a positive or a negative engagement to them is still engagement. And so you going in and responding to every comment actually helps you to perform better in the YouTube algorithm. More than that, though, it's actually an opportunity for ministry. I have had several actual real life conversations simply because I've responded to comments. I get emails, I get direct messages, I get comments on a daily basis from people all across the world who are asking genuine and sincere questions, who have challenges in their life, who are struggling with breakups, who are struggling with depression, who are struggling with, discovering God, if God's real or not, and really debating their faith. I've talked to people who are suicidal, and through the comment section, through me responding to them, being able to give them hope and just realize that God is there for them. What's really cool is if you do this consistently, if you do this well, it actually can turn into more face-to-face interaction. I've actually been able to FaceTime and to Skype with people literally from all around the world, from many of the different states in the United States, from people in all the way from Germany to Jamaica, all the way to South Korea, to Australia, to Vietnam. I've been able to speak to people all across the world simply because they know that when they type in a comment with a real question, that I actually respond. And one of my favorite things to do is to respond to comments and to see people's responses, saying, wow, I didn't actually expect a response from you. And so for me, the way that I look at comments is probably one of the more important parts of actually doing ministry on YouTube. And so I want to challenge you, especially as you're getting a channel started at the very beginning, seize every opportunity that you have to respond to comments, to engage in conversation, and to point them to resources, to point them to the scriptures, but most importantly, to point them to Jesus. Because as you do that, you actually get to see lives changed. Just a couple of months ago, during Easter Sunday, one of my favorite comments that I've ever received was from a young lady who was in Europe, I believe, and she said, "You know what, Justin, I wanted to thank you so much for your ministry, for what you and your wife do, for the videos that you make. In a large degree because of the ministry that you have, I have decided to get baptized, and I was baptized on Easter Sunday." And so it's so cool to see the life transformation. It's so cool to see people experiencing Jesus for the first time ever. And I think comments play a huge role into it. And that's why I believe that you need to respond to as many, if not every comment that you possibly can. So again, if you have any questions, let me know, and I will practice what I preach. I'll respond to your emails if you send me one over at justin@thatchristianvlogger.com. Sounds good? Talk to you guys soon in our next video, commandment number 8, which is thou shalt always continue learning. God bless.